You're listening to the official UWL podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello?
What
I can still hear the ringing.
Yes.
Nope, there's nobody here.
There we go.
It's just you.
God, when Jen and Jenny hung up, the ringing stopped. So that was weird.
It is what it is. Anyways,
CKS.
That's right. Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I hear a kid.
No, say it out loud. Say it like you've got a pair that you don't have. Really? You shame
Nice.
daughter. Get over there. All right. So, welcome to the, I guess the first official UWL radio on Skype. If you haven't tuned in with us before, well, that's probably because we've never done it like this before. So, for everybody else, thank you for joining and listening up. So, let's see who we got on with us tonight already. We have, myself, Caleb Hart, if you will, Senor Frankie Cochise,
What up?
Senor Drew Stevenson,
Hey guys.
and the one, the only, well, you call him many things, but we just call him Karn, regardless of character.
Double J needs call back.
I got him.
Word.
There he is. There we go. Cool. So, okay. So, for a couple ground rules for those that don't know necessarily how we're going to do stuff for the evening, because we're going to start doing the show on here, we have a couple things that we need to be kind of conscious about. One of the first things is if you have a microphone, obviously if you're on this call, you do. If you are not talking, please try to mute your microphone. It's going to help us kind of get the sound sounding much better as a whole, and also to eliminate all that feedback and all that other crap. So, secondly, if you have something to say, obviously say it, but don't be a douche. And as with all things, hey, let's try not to talk over each other. We want it to sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I have two. Well, I just have two things I want to say. Is first, all of a sudden your voice quality dropped. I don't know why. And second, Keith, can you pay attention to your single Skype messages? Because I have a question for you that's personal.
Personal.
Oh yeah.
8 inches, Frankie. 8 inches.
Huh? Okay. See, I wasn't sure.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, I see the end, and I don't know what was said, but it's cool either way.
he says 8 inches. Let me tell you, that's not my experience. But
No,
it could have
you
been
didn't complain.
it could have been a bad day.
You didn't
No,
complain.
You
Anyways.
You were
I'm sorry.
screaming at him all night long. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you guys are reminding me of a terrible porno pic I've seen called the $5 Foot Schlong, where they're fucking at Subway. Yeah.
Wow, that actually hurts my soul knowing that exists.
And in the corner of the picture, there was like a sandwich, like a Subway sandwich wrapped up. You can barely see it. Like, just the little end of it. Yeah, it's brilliant. I'll have to look for it and send it to you guys.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll pass. But so I guess the plan for this evening is pretty simple. We're going to do our thing. We're also going to probably change format a little bit here this evening, and that we are going to also talk about some real life stuff that's going on here. We're going to talk about some topics that have been kind of in the news this week. We're going to talk about some real wrestling, if you will, and of course by real I do believe We all know what we're talking about here. And all that good stuff. So, first off this week, how's everybody doing? Let's go around. Let's start with we have Dangles and Jefferson. Y'all there now?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Just living life, son.
Keep calling me son.
You should feel proud.
It hurts my soul, but it kind of makes me feel good at the same time.
But there's a story. We'll have to tell you a story later behind it.
Okay.
It's nothing against you. It's somebody that Rob knows that says son all the time, and he told me about it, and we all thought it was funny, so we call everybody son now.
Oh, I don't actually. I'm not actually offended by it. Don't worry about it. But I do want to hear.
Well, if you are.
And apparently, Dangles is busting ass into the microphone.
He's typing away at the keyboard as the Friday night tradition continues.
Oh, okay. The sandbag.
Call it what you want. Call it what you feel.
There you go. That's the attitude to have about it. Senor Frankie Cochise, how you doing, brother?
Oh, a lot better than I was last month. Last month, the whole month, yeah. Something's with me in August. It's my birth month, but one time I was like flu on my birthday. Shit was weird. I was thrown up all over the place a couple years back. I don't know, man. I thought August was my month. And I'm working on my third RP. I'm going to try to get that going. I'm almost done.
Awesome. So we're going to have both people maxing out for our world title match. Excellent.
Yes.
Double J, you with us this evening?
Yeah, I'm here.
He almost sounded excited about that. Almost.
Contain yourself.
I mean, really, tone it back, dude. Senor Stevenson, you here with us this evening?
I'm here. What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot, dude. Awesome. Mr. Karn?
Yeah, that's me. I'm here.
Is it just me, or does his microphone actually sound better than everybody else's?
Even better than mine?
I mean, yours sounds pretty good, but he's got like a clarity with it that's just fantastic.
He does it to me. I'm
I hear
sorry,
a lot
what?
of static. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Word.
It just sounds really clear on mine. I don't know what it is.
it's just you're used to static.
Yeah. I'm used to it sounding like crap. It's the BTR simplex. See, who else we got on here? Hey, Kyle, are you on tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
Hey, man, what's going
What's
on?
up?
Not much. Just kicking back after doing yard work.
Oh, fantastic. That's right. I guess when we do this radio show for all you West Coasters, it's right about dinner time, isn't it?
Yeah, dinner was about an hour ago.
Good for you.
I'm not gonna eat dinner yet. Nah, I'm weird like that too.
Right on. I can dig on that. Well, gentlemen, let's get down to some business tonight. What do you think?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me.
For the record, this is already working better than Blog Talk ever did.
Yes.
So let's do some Fed stuff first. Let's talk about. We had a pretty awesome show last week. If you guys had read it, anything that sticks out about last week's show, rather than go over the whole thing, I want to talk about some stuff that maybe came out of it that you were excited about, something that you liked. So we can go around if you want, or you can just kind of just let us know what it was that you liked. So actually, Frankie, let's go ahead and start with you, brother, because you always have some great opinions.
Okay, ask me what now?
Last week we had a pretty great show.
Yes.
Give me a highlight. Toss out a moment for me, and let's riff off of it a little bit.
Man, I'm trying to remember last week's show. I might have to pull it up.
Here's a news flash for you and for everybody else. If you're using Skype right now, there's a good shot that you can actually pull up Internet Explorer, Firefox, or Chrome at the same time.
Or
No,
Man, people still use Internet Explorer?
I got one.
Yeah, business, man. They have to. All right, Frankie, go for it, brother.
I got one. Pine Barren losing his hair.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I wonder if he'll go with it and actually shave his head for real. I shaved my head. Actually, you know what? I forgot to mention that in my role play.
That Frankie
I was going to mention it.
Also shaved his head?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. What else? What anybody else think about? What everybody else think about Pine Barren in that match? That was a great match, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping he actually
Great match, to be sure.
All right, let's Keith, you go ahead and do it, and then Kyle, go ahead, man.
I'm hoping he actually shaves his head, and we see a banner of this.
Yeah.
Kyle, your thoughts?
I have to agree. It's an event main event I really enjoyed reading, and I would be interested to see if he actually did shave his head to go with his character.
I can understand that. I can say that we probably don't have to worry about it, since I'm pretty sure we saw the last of Pine Barren with another debut in one of my highlights of last week, which was the return of Arch Stanton.
Yeah, it's about time Arch came back.
Well, for those that were not necessarily around when Arch was at his peak, in this case it would be, I guess, myself and Double J. Fill us in on why this is such a big deal. You know what, Jay and Rob, how about you guys do this for us?
Well, Arch Stanton, the character debuted around the time about mid-2010, about the time the War Machines were going strong and Jerry McLean was the World Heavyweight Champion, just before he lost the title to Tick Tick. Arch was, his character wasn't as well respected and taken in as it is now. You got a lot more guys now in the Fed that are more understanding and appreciate the old school feel that his character brings.
And Arch also had a successful string of chasing after the world title for 3 or 4 months. So he and had a very good heritage title reign before he decided to switch characters.
As a matter of fact, he won the UWL Pick 6 Award for Best Heritage Champion so far in 2013.
That's correct, yes. So
we know he's got some history there. Rob, I think you hit the nail on the head on something that it's actually one of the topics I was hoping to talk about a little bit later, but let's bring it up now. This idea that Arch Stanton, and like every other character that he does, is an experiment. He's one of the more original RPers that we have around. Why do you think it is that stuff like that is flowing better, particularly when it comes to being accepted? Why do you think people accept that type of originality now more than before, like you had said?
Yeah.
Well, I was around back then, and I thought the Arch Stanton character was more so of a reach. It was like I agree with you, it was like almost like a reality type test to see how others took it, because he was the only old school character. He was is he the last hard man?
Yeah.
That's his gimmick. I mean, he used, what is his pick base? I forgot.
Stan Stasiak.
Stan Stasiak.
Is that Stan Stasiak? I was wondering who that was.
Most people were using, the guys like top tier guys like not even CM Punk at the time. They were just Edge, guys like that, Triple H, and he just went out of the box. Instead of just going with what everybody else was interested in. And the guys at that time wasn't receptive of it because that was the novelist era.
They didn't understand the old school aspects, and they were, as Rob said, it was more of the novel time frame where they thought you had to be living in a barn or chasing goats or whatever than just actually talking about wrestling and promoing and received in their eyes, but in my eyes, it was always a good character.
Alan is blowing up the chat board because he's been particularly this week, I know, very excited about the returning Stanton. Why does he excite you, dude?
To me, he represents that old school feel. He represents what e-fetting used to be back in the day, you know, back before we have the current state of the game that we have now. And maybe I'm kind of a purist. I'm kind of old-fashioned like that in my old age and all, but I really can dig that kind of old feel like that.
And I think he just fell underwater. Did Karn die?
No, I said what I said, and I put my mic back on mute.
Ah, good. Ah, okay, got it. He ends his sentences on a question mark, so he leaves you wanting more. Yeah. So, that being said, I think one of the things we also want to talk about is some other things that happened on this week. So who else? Who else had a highlight this past week?
I think the match between myself and Justin with Scotty was pretty good. I think it showcased a lot for Scotty in the future.
Okay. For those of you who are listening who don't know what's going on, he's talking specifically about Drew Stevenson versus Scotty Adams, which was one hell of a match. And there was some history there too, right?
Oh yeah, we've spanned back, I believe, since 2006. I believe is when Justin made Scotty. It was either that or 2007. We spanned all over our old circuit. He started out as Drew's student, and we kind of just branched it off, and we had a match over in another Fed, which was stationed in New York City, an indie Fed, and that was where he kind of broke off from being the student and where we started feuding each other. And that was what really set us apart, was that it went from the whole student-teacher aspect to two guys really feuding each other. And ever since then, he's not really been looked at as Drew's student so much as, you know, the enemy/ally, depending where we are and if we're feuding or not.
And, well, you guys didn't really have to worry about that aspect of it too much, since obviously that history is way before UWL. But if anything, it added a really cool backstory to it, so it wasn't just a throwaway match.
Yeah, no, it actually had history and a backstory. It wasn't just champion versus champion, what's the reasoning? It was a whole lot of backstory to it. And I think we utilized some backstory in it, but we didn't want to completely go name dropping all the other, you know, Feds that we fought each other in. That's why for the people that don't quite understand why when we promo we mention in New York and in Greenville, that's where the Feds were located. We don't want to drop the names of other Feds in UWL.
Well, that's also an old school mentality too, right? Like you'd always hear that, and when people would talk about, instead of saying WWF or WCW, they'd say, "Hey, New York, Atlanta."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very NWA feel, very territorial type days.
I feel like that would fit into what we're doing here in UWL. I don't know. Maybe I'm just assuming on that one. All right, anybody else? What about any other highlights from this last week? Really? None?
One thing I kind of like from the show last week, and this is kind of my thing, I take a little more interest in a lot of the undercard stuff, is I like how you got a new guy like Captain Fury, you know, who's only had a couple of matches here, and he's getting involved in a feud with Salman Van Dam, a guy who I've kind of always liked as a writer, because I want to see him reach that level that I feel that he could reach with a little more effort. And so to see just a couple of new guys, or a couple of undercards, instead of everything about the main event, you know, I mean, I just kind of like the undercard guys getting their own chance to shine as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially someone like Salmon, who has been awesome to have around. He took a little bit of a break and actually moved over to the States, right?
He did, yes.
Okay, because he's doing. Was it wrestling training? He himself is doing wrestling training.
Yeah.
Yes, he is actually.
In Murray, Kentucky.
Say that again, boss.
He's in Murray, Kentucky training.
One more time, boss man.
He had moved to Murray, Kentucky to train. I think it may have been the same school that produced Ricochet and Chuck Taylor and that crowd.
Oh, that's cool. It's not a bad crew to be associated with.
Maybe wrong.
That's what's up.
They trained in that area as well.
Okay, that's cool. Fantastic. And how far is that from you guys?
It's on the other end of the state.
Oh, okay. Figure enough. So kind of a hike. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, what about you, man? You got some highlights from this past week? Things that you enjoyed?
Well, I know I usually don't. I have to sit and struggle on to think how to write a tag match. The formatting, I always have to sit and think. But with the main event this week under the Lucha rules, it was more flowing to me. It was easier to write, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I have enjoyed writing tag matches in the past.
It flowed very well, and it really did have that lucha feel to it, which I think is really kind of hard to write, even with that style.
I had in my mind with the tags how I wanted to do it. Usually I try to even it out if there's two handlers, but this one I just let it go and just use the heels to the way and where they could take advantage of the no tags, where they could just slide out of the ring and the other one just enter and throw a cheap shot and things like that. It was more easier to write in my opinion. Usually we may see a lot more of it in the future.
Fantastic. I like hearing something like that. Well, cool. Anybody else? Jenny, you're being awfully quiet over there.
Yeah, I know. I just joined the call a few minutes ago.
Yeah, you dropped out, but you're sounding pretty good back in. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you have a highlight from last week? You had an awesome match last week.
Yeah, I did. I had a pretty good match. Didn't pick up a win, but it was a good match nonetheless.
Absolutely. For those that don't remember, she took on our current World Heavyweight Champion, Justin Brooks, in one heck of a match. And that being said, let's go ahead and any other highlights?
I've got one. I saw the graphic in the results for the Riddle Me This, Nevermore, and that you got to be wondering, which one of the new guys is this?
And it's not a mystery man, as some people thought in the UWL chat. It's more of a vignette graphic, if you will.
Oh, okay. See, I was wondering about that.
I think I have a feeling who that is. Maybe.
It's not Rich Hamilton.
I have a feeling that it's Jay Scarlett.
Well, didn't he just say it's not a returning mystery man?
Did he? It's not a returning mystery man, he said? Huh. Well,
I don't know. Did I get that wrong, Jay? Didn't you say it wasn't somebody who's returning? Or did you just say it's not a mystery man?
It's not a mystery man.
Okay.
It's a vignette graphic.
Okay.
Frankie Cochetter.
huh?
It's Frankie Cochetter, dangerously cheesy.
Frankie Cochitos. I need to get y'all to start joning more. I want to see y'all start joning. I love it.
Well, I'll say this. If it is Jay Scarlett, we miss the guy. He's an awesome writer, and that'd be great to see him. Karn says we could always get Jay to make a poll about it. Then we'll have a list of people who it definitely isn't. It's probably pretty accurate.
You actually think I would actually put the person who it is in the poll?
No. No, that's his point. Is he knows you wouldn't. It would only be a list of people who it isn't.
One of these days, I'm going to actually make a poll and put the person who it is in it. But I'm going to say it's not.
He's tricky.
And we'll never know when it is.
Yeah, we'll never know when it is.
Right.
Tricky.
Anyways, all right.
Or maybe he's saying it's not, or it is. It's not a mystery man. I just had it, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Maybe he's tricking us again. Maybe it's not.
It's not a mystery man angle in the percent. It's without making a video of it. It would be it's a vignette graphic. That's why I put the moon at the bottom of it.
Well, I have no idea who it is. I'm just fucking guessing that it's Jay Scarlett. I just got this feeling. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm okay with that. And I agree, Karn. Thank God it isn't a mystery man angle, because if we had one more of those, we need to get El Ducho Bago to come back and do an awful skit that would mimic it.
Where did he go?
Maybe it is El Ducho Bago under a new gimmick.
El Aso Wipo?
Heck, I missed that dude. I thought about him not too long ago. I miss EDB.
Well, that's
I'm
good.
say it right here. You say it right here. You heard it here first. It's the janitor.
It better be the janitor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of returns, let's actually kind of shift gears a little bit, and let's talk about something not returns, but kind of the exact opposite, but leaving. And let's go to a little bit more of a real-life application here. Big news this week coming out of WWE in the fact that Jim Ross is retiring after 20 years in the company. And that, for those of us that are, obviously pro wrestling fans, and I'm pretty sure that's all of us, that's kind of huge news. The person who specifically asked that we talk about this is actually Jay. So, Jay, I'm thinking you've got some thoughts on the matter, man.
Well, the Observer, Dave Meltzer's crew, is reporting that it was not a retirement, that Vince met with him in secret and told him you're gone, and it was due to the blow up at the 2K panel thing for not controlling Ric Flair.
Okay.
So, and JR got the axe over it, which I think is incredibly wrong. It's not JR's place to control Ric Flair. Nobody's been able to control Ric Flair, and they should have knew better than to put him on a panel that they wanted to be off corporate in the first place.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. For those of you guys that don't know, that haven't been keeping up with all this dirt sheet stuff that we're talking about here, not too long ago there was a panel for the WWE 2K14 game that had quite an awesome group of people there, and Ric Flair did Ric Flair and completely took over and like I said, was Ric Flair, and if the news is right, it just means that that JR took the brunt of it. So where do we stand on that? What do y'all think?
I think it's a crying ass shame that you're going to take a guy that's been as loyal to being a WWE lifer as someone like Jim Ross, and you're going to go and throw him out like a pair of old disco boots over something that Ric Flair did. Ric Flair's damn near a 70-year-old man. I mean,
look how they treated JR through the years, though. They've been disrespectful and treated him like basically trash for the last 15 years.
Well, sure, they have. And even that's what makes it so much more appalling. Even through all the crap he's dealt with, through McMahon mocking his Bell's palsy, Jim Ross has still been a WWE lifer. He's still been the poster child for a company guy. And personally, at this point, with Jim Ross being quote-unquote retired from WWE, I personally hope that Dixie Carter can actually reach out to Jim Ross, offer him whatever the hell money he wants, and try to bring him over there into the Impact Zone. Because he can help bring that company up to so many greater heights that you can't even fathom. Heights that TNA probably has not even seen since before they hired Hogan and after they hired Hogan.
Yeah, that's a great thought, but the chance of Jim Ross going to TNA is so slim to none, it's ridiculous.
What Dixie needs to do is she needs to back up the Brinks truck and throw however much money it's going to take for him and send Hogan and Bischoff packing and turn the company over to JR and let him run it. JR would
Absolutely.
do a fabulous job TNA.
But would that really be a good idea though?
Well,
I asked because of this, because they've thrown their money at just about everything else, and it's always bringing in this name to do this, and it's never been a good fit for whatever reason. Why would Jim Ross be any different?
Because he actually has fence over Bischoff. Bischoff, who proven he killed WCW along with Hogan, who everything they touched they killed, without the editor Vince McMahon there. Jim Ross was a creative mind before he even came to WWE, when he learned under Bill Watts and was doing most of the booking during the early 90s in WCW before Ole Anderson and Dusty Rhodes took over and sunk the ship even more. And JR would actually tell them and beat it in their heads, hey, you need to stop what you're doing and actually put out a product that people can like, not basically trash.
That's fair. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. But that's why I'm asking you guys for your thoughts.
I don't see it happening either, but it's wishful thinking.
I mean, I think at one point it said that Jim Ross used to kind of blast TNA on like every one of his weekly blogs back in the day, but I think he was only blasting him because he's such a company guy for WWE. But with them kind of bullying him into retirement, for lack of a better word, I think that actually gives him some kind of a motive to go over there to TNA. It lets him work with a guy like Kurt Angle, Sting, work with, Bully Ray for that matter. I mean, these are guys that these are guys that were brought in to WWE during JR's time as executive VP of talent. And, well, except Sting, obviously, but I digress. And combine that with JR working with these guys, and then JR working with the youngins that are trying to get up and coming in TNA. I mean, it's just, or like imagine Jim Ross sitting at the booth with Tenay, which would be an amazing team. Or even sitting with Taz, who could make Taz go from annoyingly obnoxious to actually making Taz sound damn near legendary, just because of who JR is.
See, and in that regard, and Alan and I have talked about this a lot. I don't get the appeal to Tenay. I never have. And to me, the idea of a Jim Ross, Mike Tenay announce booth actually would put me to sleep. And it'd be because of the role that Mike Tenay would attempt to get back into, which is color commentary, which he's never, ever been any good at whatsoever. But I am one man. Keith, you were going to say something, man.
I was going to say, with the WWE, when they put Flair on the panel, you know what you get with Flair. It's never a surprise. You know, and as long as the fans enjoyed it, why should it matter? If the fans had a good time at the 2K14 deal, let them have fun.
And 2K didn't even mind it.
Well, then that, in my opinion, if 2K didn't mind and the fans loved it, why should it matter? I mean, first you get what you get with Flair.
UFC.
When you get Ric Flair, go ahead.
I personally think JR will end up in UFC or one of those MMA promotions because he's a big MMA guy. I think that UFC, he's already appeared on a UFC pay-per-view during an interview. I think he'll actually end up in probably a shoot promotion or retire, or he may go to TNA out of spite. Who knows? I don't see him going to TNA, which I wish he would. I think he has more likelihood of going to a MMA promotion.
I think the most likelihood would actually be him doing Oklahoma football. I know he has in the past done some radio for them. and that would be about as close to working retirement as it could get for someone like him.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
Well, WWE needs to lighten up. They need to unclench their ass cheeks a little bit. They have this whole PG thing going on, fine. Whatever you want to do. But to throw JR under the bus, because what Flair did wasn't really what I would consider horrible. And the fans loved it. 2K loved it. It was good for ratings.
Except for the fact that it wasn't really for ratings. It was, what's the whole point of having a panel and inviting the guys that you invite if you're just going to say, well, that wasn't really what we were looking for?
You get what you get with Flair. You know what
exactly.
You get with Flair. It's not like you're going into this going, oh, wow, that was a surprise. Ric Flair is Ric Flair. You know what you get. If you don't want him on the panel, don't put him on the panel.
I agree completely.
It's not like you're walking into this blindfolded. Flair's been Flair and acted the same now for 30, 40 years. Flair's crazy. A good kind of crazy, but he's crazy, and you know what you get with him.
Fair enough.
As someone who actually watched the panel, I was thoroughly entertained by it. I loved listening because I love Flair being Flair. And actually, as someone who had no intentions on even wanting to buy 2K14, it actually changed my mind some and actually got me to seriously consider, hey, I might want to get this,
Hey, and that's about as good for business as it could possibly get, right? If something can happen to drum up that interest, and Keith, to go back to your point, I'm not entirely sure that it was a PG situation. I think it's like you said, it's a control issue, in that they should have known what they were getting into. It's Ric goddamn Flair. You know what he's going to do, how he's going to be. So that onus is on them. Anybody else have any thoughts on the matter?
You can go ahead.
I actually enjoyed Ric Flair just sitting there and telling all those stories at the panel more so than I did hearing guys like JR, guys like Zigzag, guys like Ray talk about the game. To the point that it actually encouraged me to go and download Steve Austin's podcast with Rick from a couple days later.
It's a great podcast.
Just listen to that because I want to hear Rick tell some more stories about his time on the road. That shit was awesome.
Has everybody else gotten a chance to listen to Austin's podcast?
No, not yet.
It's up there with Art of Wrestling, if not better.
I haven't gotten the chance yet.
I listened to the one where he interviewed himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I listened to that one.
Austin does a hell of a podcast, man. He really does.
Yeah. When he interviewed himself, it was hilarious and very well done. So I can only imagine what it's like when he actually interviews actual people.
He did a really, really great one with Showtime Eric Young. That was a lot better than I legitimately thought it was going to be. Because it's Austin, and if you know Steve Austin for anything, it's the fact that, he's Captain Redneck to the fullest extent. But it's absolutely fantastic. He does a great job. So if you haven't listened to it, check it out.
That, and I think a lot of it's so successful because a guy like Steve, he's got that natural charisma like that.
Oh yeah.
And he's transcended wrestling to the point that, kind of like Dwayne, that people outside of wrestling know who Steve is. They're gonna follow him, follow his Redneck Island, follow his podcast, his movies like The Condemned or whichever, just because of his own name value.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not they know about Steve Austin. It's not they know the character of Steve Austin is. I think we've all got a pretty good idea as to who Steve Austin, the man, is. And that's now almost public domain in the fact that that's how everybody knows him. Steve is Steve. And speaking of Steve, he that was another great podcast, was actually the one he did with Jim Ross. He did a two-parter not too long ago. If you haven't got a chance to listen to it again, it's fantastic. So let's do this. Let's go around and maybe favorite Jim Ross moments. And it doesn't have to be in WWE. It could be anywhere.
Well, first, real quick about the panel. I thought it was fun and entertaining. But my only question was, why was Rey Mysterio there? Why were half of them there to begin with? Because they barely got to say anything. But as far as my favorite Jim Ross moment, they killed him. That always cracks me up.
Was that Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
God Almighty, they killed him.
Yeah, the one that's launched 1,000 memes now.
Yeah.
I got one. I personally think it's hilarious whenever JR was talking about, I can't remember, but I think Austin got cracked over the head with a steel chair, and he was like, he don't know where the hell he is.
Ooh, I've got another one. Sorry if I interrupt somebody, but I got another one. When he called Eric Bischoff a son of a bitch. That was the best.
That was incredible.
YouTube that if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Somebody put it up 10 years after. Huh?
I think a couple I have that a lot of them people's not gonna really take into consideration. What about the time JR did that interview with Mankind back when he was deranged?
Loved it.
I think that's one people are forgetting about, was when he did that interview with Mick. I think that really set JR apart, because JR actually took the mandible claw from him. And that set JR apart as more than just a commentary guy. Or when he would be with Steve Austin. It was a fantastic moment. JR's had a lot of great moments, and he's contributed to the WWE a lot more than some of the wrestlers have.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
You know, he's taken some bumps and bruises himself.
I think that with JR, you could probably make a case that there were quite a few wrestlers that just having him around made that wrestler to an extent. Mankind, absolutely.
Yeah.
To that extent,
interview with Mick.
Amazing.
A lot of people forget that JR was pretty much the architect of the Attitude Era, because he was head of talent relations who recruited in all the talent at that time. But I have two JR moments. Would be one that Keith brought up was when he done the interview with Foley. That was well done. And also for people might not know this, but in Mid-South, when the Freebirds came in to Mid-South, when they changed over to the UWF, JR was the lead announcer and really sold that broadcast.
Yeah. I really liked when he would call
probably the DiBiase heel turn in Mid-South with the black glove as well.
No doubt. For all of his many pluses, I think for me one of my favorite things was actually something that a lot of people hate it, but it was his heel turn in the WWE. When they brought in Dr. Death, Steve Williams, I freaking loved that, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it was that fire that he had, and he changed one little thing about it, and it went from being that fire, that passion for pro wrestling, and became that passion against the WWF at the time. And I freaking loved that. And I actually have to agree with everybody else. I think the Mankind interview is hands down one of my favorite things that he ever did. That whole series was unbelievable.
And I have one other.
Go for it, Jay.
When it comes to JR, one of the most disgusting things that ever happened in wrestling happened when WCW, on the second or third show, when Russo and Ferrara was take over as head of creative, when Ferrara was Oklahoma and made fun of JR and his Bell palsy. That was disgusting, and those idiots should have been fired that night after that. That was disgusting.
Yeah, but it's Vince Russo. The guy's never had any class.
Well, now that's not completely true about Vince Russo now.
The deuce that I dropped yesterday had more class than Russo.
To be fair, you take some classy deuces.
Okay, that's true. I'll give you that one.
I mean, how often you see him come out with bow ties? I'm just saying.
Right? Yeah, my favorite was when it came out with a tux.
Impressive. Couldn't get the brown off of it, but still. So what else? What other JR moments do we have?
One of my favorite Jim Ross moments, and it still sticks out in my head to this day, is it was during Evolution, if I recall, where you actually had the Triple H versus Jim Ross inside of a match. It was, I mean, it was like, I don't even want to call it a match because it was definitely more of a segment, but it was so, what's the word I'm looking for here? Inspiring, I guess, to myself that I actually had to take that segment and extrapolate that into an E-Fed that when I was still the head booker of that Fed to do something similar like that with myself and my head commentator, my face commentator. Because it was just, here you got Triple H, the world champion, acting as some big bully. Actually, he might have been number one contender at the time. And he's doing whatever he can, just doesn't care, taking it out on a guy like Jim Ross, who's just there to quote unquote do his job, so to speak. And I just loved it for that.
Does everybody remember Jim Ross's WWE debut?
Is that when he was in the toga?
Yeah, WrestleMania 9.
Wasn't that the Roman one?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, when they had the Road Warriors come out on the bikes.
Yeah, no, that was a different one. Unless they came out Road Warriors weren't on that one.
It's when Yokozuna won the title.
Yeah, that was that,
okay.
And Giant Gonzalez versus Taker.
Undertaker, yep.
One of the worst matches of all time.
What do you expect?
Well, when you have someone like Giant Gonzalez, I mean, he's got about the skill level as the Great Khali.
Well, it's actually
and that's not a good thing.
I agree. Well, and it's funny if you think about how long ago that was. That was WrestleMania 9, and we're coming up on WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
And he's been around for everyone since, even though he hasn't been necessarily commenting. So this is a man who's got a career who has, many of us wrestling fans, particularly since WWE is the big one, grew up on this guy. He is, in fact, for a lot of us, our Gordon Solie. And some would argue, better.
I'd agree with that. Sure, I remember growing up listening to guys like Jim Ross and The King on commentary, and then hearing guys like Howard Finkel doing the ring announcing. And that was like the pinnacle of like some of the best matches ever. The best ring announcer with the best play-by-play and color commentators at the time.
Back when King didn't suck.
Yes.
I have to say, I think the greatest commentary team ever, and this is just my opinion, was Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
I loved them, but there was something about hearing Jesse Ventura saying, Gorilla. That always, I always loved Ventura and Monsoon.
Yeah, but you ever see some of the skits that Monsoon and Heenan did together?
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I mean, I will go on record saying this probably till the day I die, that Bobby Heenan is the greatest manager of all time and arguably the greatest mind of all time.
I'd like to know one person who would argue that point.
It certainly won't be me.
Yeah, Absolutely.
There's a reason why Bobby's nickname was The Brain, and I don't think that relates to only wrestling.
Yep. Little known fact, Bobby the Brain Heenan actually started out as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And JR started out as a referee.
That's right.
He sure did.
That's right. So
back in the good times.
Any last thoughts about JR before we move on to whatever the heck we're going to move on to?
Sorry, go ahead.
I hope wherever he goes that he finds just as much success and happiness.
God bless him. That's what I was going to say, but I had my mic on mute. I thought I unmuted it, but I muted it. So I'm all confused. But God bless him.
I wonder where Frankie's been. I know he generally has comments on stuff like this.
That's funny. Can't fool me. Can't fool me. I've seen the red. I've seen the red. Red means muted.
Oh, we can fool you all right.
Oh, how you gonna fool me?
Oh. See, we'll fool you by just showing you what the UWL title looks like to get y'all like blinded and hypnotized by it, and then take it away. And you're just like all discombobulated, like, "Hey, where'd my belt go?"
Well, he's already had that happen to him.
Karn, you haven't been for. You're not even 100 feet from the title.
Huh?
I know.
Karn's the only way he's going to get close to the title is if he buys a replica.
Ouch! And I was just about to mention replicas. I'm buying them.
And you know, that's A-okay with me. I don't need to be around a world title to make whatever storyline I'm involved in relevant. I'm just as happy to work the undercard with some of these amazing new talents coming in, like Winterborn, Sawyer, and other people like the Cazadors and Joe Jones like that, you know? Doesn't matter where I'm at.
That's fair enough. That being said, I want to let everybody else know that tonight our show is being brought to you, of course I'm just saying this, by BeltTalk.com, because if you want to see some sweet-ass belts, go to BeltTalk.com, and they've got a whole forum based around it, and it's awesome.
It's also being sponsored by Sapporo Beer, and I just want to say I'm buying $1 Million Man replica belt unless you guys can recommend some different ones. I got a recommendation from Roach. He said buy the all gold Ric Flair belt. And I looked that belt up, and that belt is like buying $10 Million Man belts. So, no.
Yeah.
You should buy a replica of the European title. Oh, no, I just always liked the way that belt looks.
I saw replicas about a year ago about this time, so you could hit me up then, but that was a year ago.
Jay, do you have any replica belts?
Not anymore. I sold them all last year.
Oh, you did have some then, huh? What'd you have?
I didn't actually buy the ones from the actual belt makers. I bought them from, like, High Spots, the actual replicas, not the replica real belts. I had the NWA world title, the Big Gold world title, and I had the WWF Winged Eagle belt.
Wow.
Pretty nice selections there of belts.
Yeah, and I had the United States and the Undisputed at one time, and I sold those long before I sold these last three.
That's awesome. I used to own the European, the Intercontinental, not the one you see on TV today, the one before Cody Rhodes swapped it out. And I had the Attitude belt, but I lost those in a storage locker of mine when I couldn't get down there to unload the locker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, do those cheap plastic replicas count? Because I got some of those in the closet.
the ones with the foam foam belts. There you go.
Yeah, I still got them either in my closet or in the garage.
I'm pretty sure that my Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy came with the Intercontinental title. I don't remember though.
Hey, I had one of those too.
Yeah, man.
Back when I was a kid,
WCW made a Sting that you hit that would yell and moan and groan and oh.
And it would generally be considered just completely wrong these days to have something like that.
Looking back on it nowadays, I can't believe that. I mean, we spent $230 on these replica belts like that when they're just like really expensive knickknacks, you know?
Well, at the time when I had mine, they were very low priced. Now they went up to outrageous prices where I wouldn't even consider buying one now.
Oh yeah, like the modern WWE title is something like $450 for the replica of that. Just ridiculous. The spinner belt's like almost that same price.
Wow. Well, just
Speaking of wrestling buddies, I still have the original 80s Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy.
There you go.
Just saying.
Yeah, belts are expensive, man. Has anybody else ever had any replica belts or real belts, for that matter? No? Well, all right.
Closest I ever got as a kid is when we used to make them out of cardboard.
Yeah, that was me too, especially with cardboard, man. I mean, that belt meant more to me than the WWE belt ever could.
Yeah, you make them out of cardboard and use crayon and pencil and shit to draw them. That was what we did.
Hey, back in the day when you were the WROLD champion of the world.
Hey,
that's awesome.
All that mattered is that we were the champion.
My friend. Yeah, I agree. And just to put some money figures in your head as far as what certain belts are worth right now. On that same forum that I referenced earlier, somebody has a belt up, or he put a whole bunch of his belts up, and the NWA Tag Team belt he's selling for $2,000.
Ooh, shit!
I mean, here you go. The WWE logoed 2D Big Gold. Even with plating issues, he's trying to sell it for $37.50, and that is not $37.
Sad thing is, there's somebody out there that will actually spend that kind of money on it.
You know, I don't know if that's necessarily sad though. I mean, if that's your thing, man, that's your thing.
I remember a few years back. This is when I just got out of high school. I had a few hundred in my pocket, so I decided to look around, see what I wanted to get, and I saw this eBay listing of the Attitude Era WWF Championship. And it looked like it was in good condition and everything, and I almost got it for about $100, but somebody sniped it from under me at the last minute.
Maybe it's just me, but I was always so much of a closet wrestling fan that it was hard for me to even consider getting one of those belts.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know?
The only person knew when we were growing up that I had those was Rob.
Yeah.
Sounds like me. I had those 3 different belts, and I kept them up there on the top shelf of my closet. Kept the door closed, so if someone came in, they wouldn't see, oh my god, you spent how much money on those 3 wrestling belts? Same thing with e-fetting. It's like all of our dirty little secrets and shit. I should probably avoid cursing like that. My bad.
That is the tagline for all of e-wrestling. It's e-wrestling. You ain't gonna tell no one.
Mm-hmm.
I've never hit what I did. Never.
Yeah, maybe I just don't have any shame.
You know what? I dated women, they read my role play.
There you go. See, I can speak for myself.
In the grand scheme of...
Go for it, Karn.
Oh, in the grand scheme of things, ain't no way that you can talk and make it sound cool as soon as you explain to someone, I pretend to be a wrestler on the internet. Yeah, there ain't no way to fix that.
Yeah, I can't wait I can't wait to hear how Dangles goes through his own head when he sits here and goes, well, maybe I could tell my fiance. No. Well, you know, we're gonna get no.
You know what? I see it like this. It's no different than any hobby she does. If anything, it's better because as a writer, you're expressing creativity. It's a creative outlet. And writing is a great form of working up brain power.
Yeah, well, the moment that I start working up brain power when I write an RP is the moment that you're all screwed.
Well, you did 5 this week, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, trust me, it took no brain power. That's all ego, my friend.
Oh, I see. I see. I don't require no brain power to promo again.
That's what it was. Yeah, no.
I got to say a few things. It's funny that y'all are talking about that because today a buddy of mine, he told me, because we were talking about wrestling, he said, well, I don't really give a shit about like wrestling, but have you seen The Rock lately? He's so jacked and this and that. But, because I was talking to him about e-fitting, he said, you know what? I don't mean to sound like a dick by saying that, but I'm glad that you're still role-playing, he told me. And another thing, I want to buy the $1 million belt because I actually want to walk around MagFest with a wad of money and film myself fucking making people do things for money. And what are they going to do? Call me a nerd? I'm at MagFest.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? I might get this artist girl that I saw there last time to bark like a dog for $100. I need to save a shit ton of money for that. It's in January, so I got some time.
See, I've got kids. Maybe I could do that with them.
Trent on the next episode, public agent.
Public what?
I got it.
What do you say?
He doesn't know what it is.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sitting here clueless.
Go ahead and look it up.
I don't even know what up. I could barely hear it. What?
He said public agent.
Public agent. Okay.
Yeah, just look it up.
All right. Yeah, I thought about doing that.
Hey, just be sure to pay the taxes on that belt. You don't want IRS repossessing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Good point.
Geez. I'm gonna go silent for a few. I'll still be listening, but I'm almost done with my RP. I'm almost fucking done. And the sooner the better I get this out. I don't want to be like a buzzer beater.
All right.
I want to try. You know what I mean?
All right. We finished like a day ago. You slackers.
I know.
We did 5. Come on now.
I can't. Can you hear me?
What?
Yeah.
It's funny. I can't. I don't know if I could do 5. I really don't know.
That 5 promos is a lot. I'm like just about right doing 2, but with the whole 1,200 word limit that a lot of people have been rocking lately, I feel like I could probably get to 3. But I don't see myself doing more than that.
I would have had this done sooner, but I was waiting for him to reply. I mean, I had my setting out ready to write and everything, and I was actually writing it before he said I was up, but now that he replied, I just got more to work with. So that's why I'm a little bit, it's 10 o'clock, but I'm almost done. I got this.
There you go. Okay.
Has Angie showed yet?
Huh?
Has Angie showed yet?
The last RP posted was Mr. Troy Vincent.
So
how many we have on the board?
We are up to 37 RPs.
Damn, we got 13 to go before we hit that 50 that I predicted for the week.
We've got 2 hours left. We may hit it.
Oh, 13 promos in 2 hours? I don't know. That's a lot. That's like 6 promos an hour. 6.5, actually.
That's a normal Friday.
Exactly.
Maybe if you and Keith was going to like 20 promos as your limit or something, then maybe we could hit that.
Like I said earlier, man, if we had thought about just being able to RP and RP and RP, we probably would have done that.
Yeah.
And I would have been pissed off because then I wouldn't have gotten any homework done. But that's okay.
And minor details. Homework is overrated. You don't need that.
Well, I'd like to finish college here eventually.
You can finish it in the next 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I said 12 years ago, dude.
Hey, why do today what you can do tomorrow, right?
That's what I keep saying, but then Jay keeps saying, no, do the radio show.
All I said was, are we going to do the podcast Friday night? Yeah, sure are. I just posted about it. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's how it happens. He's actually right. That is how it happens. Anyways, anything else we want to talk about? We're on the topic of real wrestling. Anything else that we want to put out there for discussion, get some thoughts, and get some good radio on?
Anyone catch you in the SmackDown?
I did not, and even though I actually downloaded it and watched it.
SmackDown's not on for me for another hour.
Karn is the one good fan that actually will wait until the show airs to watch it.
Well, I already got mine on the DVR, just finished a few minutes ago. Gotta love Dish.
I mean, I read the non-spoiler match listing for it, And aside from Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler, the rest of the card looks like utter ass. I mean, like I want to see the Great Khali and The Miz in a dance-off.
I'll say this: SmackDown, from what I skipped through, actually wasn't that bad this week.
The opening segment was horrible.
Yeah, that was really bad. But as a whole, it was all right. It's pretty bad when TNA's weekly Impact is actually better than SmackDown, which has historically been a pretty strong show when they try.
I've actually been quite impressed with Impact for the last couple of months. So, I've been a fan ever since Bully Ray started going the singles push, and when he first became the Bully. I was so hooked, and I watched him keep evolving, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's the world champion and the president of the Aces and Eights, the biggest invading group in the history of TNA, and it's just like, wow, why are more people not watching this show? You get better wrestling, you get longer matches than a standard WWE match, and on average, you generally get some better promos.
Because I would say, on average, none of that is actually true.
Actually, I think Bully Ray has always been great. He's just never been given the ball.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Karn, on one point, I do agree with you that the past couple months, to an extent, they had been on a roll in a few different areas. One of them has been Bully. And Keith, go ahead with your thought, man.
But when he was back as Bubba Ray in ECW, he had so much heat on him that they had to escort him out of the arena before he got shanked.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't think Bully Ray's just now finding his groove. WWE never was putting him in a singles role, and neither did TNA up until now.
I hear you. And I would still argue that he has found his groove as a singles guy.
Well, I mean, I think he's always had it. That's my argument.
Sure. And to an extent, I agree with that. But I think that for him, everything had to fire into place, and a lot of it also had to do with him getting in shape.
Well, now the shape part, yeah, I won't deny that he was not in good shape.
Oh my God!
It's so crazy. Like, I was watching the triple threat main event from Unbreakable 06 a couple nights ago. And in the suggested videos feed, I saw something else involving Team 3D trying to get into a certain weight to fight Shark Boy and someone else, I think, in some tag team match. And I look at then Brother Ray compared to now Bully Ray, and it's like, wow, this is almost a different person.
Well, they said he dropped what? It was like 80 pounds, right?
Yeah, something like 80 pounds, 80, 90 pounds.
It was insane. Dude's in awesome shape now, and he's been an absolute highlight as in TNA, no doubt. We argue about TNA all the time on the chat, which, by the way, if you're not in it, I'm not even going to say that, because if you're not in the chat, then how the hell did you get on the show?
Exactly.
But, Bubba Ray Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him, has been a highlight for a long time. But one of the biggest problems with TNA has always been their lack of consistency. No matter how good they do in certain areas, they can't sustain it for longer than a couple weeks at a time before falling into the same unbelievably bad habits.
Well, sure. I mean, they had, like, Aces and Eights kind of just wandering around aimlessly with just guys like Devon and Briscoe, and then they started doing it real well when they announced Bully, and then they followed that up when they had Bully recap all of the events that led to his reveal as the president, and I thought that was a great move by TNA, and it showed a lot of continuity, and then they just kind of go from Aces and Eights, the invading faction, to Bully Ray and his lackeys over here.
Yeah.
And Bully Ray and his magnificent jobbers in Devon.
That in itself is exactly why I could never take Aces and Eights seriously. and for the record, I still want proof that Wes Briscoe is actually a Briscoe.
Horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
I think, like...
He doesn't even look like a Briscoe. It's ridiculous.
No, he doesn't. He looks bad.
That's gotta be his mama right there, man.
I think that a lot of their problem is that they're still working talents on open deals. They're not signing them to lucrative enough written deals to make these people want to stay. I mean, when you got guys like Doc Gallows, who's pretty talented for being a big guy that leaves for contract disputes in the middle of like one of the biggest storylines he's ever been a part of, it's hard to keep the faction going. And then you got Devon that you're losing there. It's like, I mean, and now I guess Anderson supposedly finished up with the company, or they're worried that he might not re-sign with the company. I mean, they need to do better on their contracts. Yeah. Better on the offers they want to give to their talent.
Anderson's not a huge loss. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've talked about this before too. I like the guy, but he's so bland. It's ridiculous. Even when my single biggest problem is he reminds me so much of Dane Cook that I just want to smack him.
Now, see, I've always seen Anderson as a very unique individual. He's always he's the only guy that can get the crowd to chant asshole, to call him an asshole in a positive light.
Well, start referring to your fans as Anderson's assholes, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, no one else has actually been able to get something as negative as assholes to actually stick like that. I mean, I think Anderson's kind of a genius by being able to figure that out. Oh, maybe I overrate the guy. I mean, maybe it comes back to my overall lower standards in a lot of things.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. The man recognizes he has lower standards.
I mean, after all, I am the one and only UWL's Vince Russo guy, so...
I don't think you're the one and only UWL's. I think you're the one and only period.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're the one and only period. You're not one UWL.
Well, Vince Russo's not even a Vince Russo guy anymore. I mean, come on.
He's not that terrible.
Yes, he is.
Come on.
Yeah, he's that bad.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of the entire wrestling universe saying, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I only have one thing to say. Well, okay, I have two things to say. Pope-mobile and Viagra on a pole.
Hey, the Pope-mobile wasn't terrible. And
go into wrestling right now and do that.
Viagra on a pole was a great match as a shock value kind of match. I mean...
I heard it all now.
Viagra on a pole. That match was, I'll tell you what, that match really did it for somebody.
Viagra on a pole. I mean, gonna go on and on with the Russo stupidity.
Did somebody just mention Judy Bagwell on a pole?
Yeah, she was on a pole, all right.
Strangely enough, happened to be the same match as Viagra on a pole. I'm just saying. Anyways, continue.
I mean, come on. I mean, sure, Vince Russo gets a lot of undeserved flack for sinking WCW in those last 9 months, but come on, WCW was already dead, the ship was up in flames, and it was already going down that big crapper once Vince Russo was handed the reins to.
Now
he threw kerosene on the fire.
It was still on fire. I mean, that's not Russo's fault.
Now you say undeserved flack. Now, when you say undeserved flack, do you mean singularly deserved?
No, not singularly deserved.
Okay, well then you're wrong. So
I mean, because no, he doesn't deserve all of that.
He deserves as much flack for WCW going down as Vince McMahon does for WWF succeeding.
No. That's not the case, because that shit was gonna go down. You could have put fucking JB in charge. You could have put Goldberg. You could have put fucking Tank Abbott in charge. It doesn't matter. WCW is still gonna go down.
If Tank Abbott was put in charge of WCW, I would have watched every goddamn Nitro.
All I have to say is Russo was going to put the world title on Tank Abbott. End of story. Russo's terrible. End of story.
Wasn't it during Vince's reign when David Arquette had the title?
Yes, it was.
Hey, that was a great shock moment. That they did.
Loved shock moments.
It was go for it.
Russo would love for the Divas to take a shit in the ring, because that's a shock moment.
It was such a good shock moment that David Arquette immediately realized he'd made a huge mistake.
It was terrible.
He was
terrible.
So
I could go in right now and do a better job.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be all Russo. I mean, because after WCW, he goes to TNA, and he gives us one of the greatest segments in TNA history with the Riot in the Impact Zone. That was genius.
That was,
That Riot.
TNA.
Alan, just let it go, man. Just let it go.
On the topic of let it get go, let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about what about this week's newsletter? Did everybody get a chance to read this week's newsletter?
I read it.
Jay, I hope you read it since you wrote it.
No, Rob Macklin wrote it.
Oh, right. Excuse me. When can we get Rob Macklin on the show?
He's in New York City tonight.
I bet. That's when someone's supposed to say something like New York City.
Oh God. The salsa commercial.
There you go.
Damn, man. I'm almost done, but it's like I have more to say. I'm just gonna, I just do me, man, and just keep going. I ain't gonna stop until I say my piece. That's the Italian in Frankie. That's the Italian in me.
Doing himself.
That's how we roll.
The Frankie Cochise story.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
The Vince Russo story. Yes. Okay, so
let's right back to the Vince Russo blast.
Always. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the newsletter. We had some cool things in the newsletter. So, AJ, you've got an inside track with Mr. Macklin on the newsletter. You want to maybe bring up some of these topics for us?
I don't have the board up.
Unacceptable.
I have the board up.
Who? Jay, I thought that your homepage was the board.
No.
My homepage is blank.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Oh, I use my homepage as blank because that way it doesn't take as long for my computer to load up Chrome.
And it hides the porn when people walk into the room.
Well, that too.
Yeah, right on.
It's always important to hide the porn.
That's right. All right, so I'll tell you what, I'll do one, and then Alan, why don't you take the next one after me, man?
Okay.
Cool, so the first thing is UW officials are in New York City for Grand Voyage 6. UWL officials are meeting over which match will go on last, as Grand Voyage 6 has a double main event. It is rumored ULW officials will not release which match of the double main event will go on last until the show kicks off. Now, that's some pretty sweet news to me. And not just because I'm in one of those matches, but that's a big deal, correct?
It is. The chance for the Heritage title to close out the show over the World title. That's huge. Almost unheard of. Almost.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? Anybody else?
Thoughts about what again?
Hold on, guys. I'm going to finish my dinner real quick.
I'll allow it.
Fair enough. It's 9:19 where you are. Why are you eating dinner now?
I always eat late.
Fair enough.
It'll all go to your hips.
It's because he touches himself at night.
Right.
He's got to get it done. He's got to get it out of the way before dinner, build up that appetite. Okay, well, I think that's pretty sweet. I liked the idea, and this is something I never even considered, the idea of a double main event. I've never really thought about that in terms of e-fetting. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
UWL is like the only e-fed that I've been in where I've seen cards that have a double main event. Or like I've seen some cards that they have a double main event on the same weekend of it being a double shot. And that's pretty incredible. I mean, a double shot's a little bit too much promoing for me in one shot, but yeah, it's still incredible the way that it is.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with that.
Personally, I love it. I think either match is well deserving of being the final match of the night.
Okay.
Whoever is the person who gets to close out the show, they're going to have a lot on their plate to have to follow up. And I guess that's speaking in like a strictly Kai-Fu way, a strictly in character manner, but yeah.
Sure, I agree with that. Why don't you go ahead and take us on our next topic here, man?
All right, it says speculation is running wild, brother, as to what Rob Backlund's announcement as it pertains to the future of the UWL on FSN. UWL officials have been having meetings with the Fox Sports officials numerous times over the last month. We will find out Saturday night at Grand Voyage 6.
So to me, that says that we may be getting a new show or ending up on a new channel.
We're going to Spike TV, brother.
Oh God, I hope not. That's a terrible network.
On one condition, we need someone from Bellator to be in UWL to waste time.
Well, Ashton Benet uses Rampage Jackson as a pick base.
No,
so let me go roll up an alt with Tito's to pick base. We'll get going.
Wait, hold up. Does Ashton Bennett really use Rampage Jackson?
He does.
Yes.
How the hell did I miss that?
I saw that the first time, and I'm just like, wow, really?
Because what pick base says Ashton Bennett? Like Rampage Jackson.
I mean, it's like, there's countless buff black dudes that can wear a chain around the neck. You gotta use him? You can't use like Lashley or something?
Junkyard Dog.
There you go, Junkyard Dog as well.
You said buff. Never mind. God rest his dead soul.
Well, you don't want to go with Lashley unless you have a lisp or something. Otherwise, your promos devolve into, you say your name is Finley and that you love the fight. I say your name is Finley and you're a bastard.
How did I miss that his character base was Rampage Jackson? Oh wait, maybe it's because I've never associated a badass with the name of Ashton Bennett. That, and maybe you just missed that one kind of weak promo that he threw out earlier in the week, and then his ability to continually go AWOL ever since then. You know what it is though? Now that I'm seeing it, I feel horrible because I see his entrance music as "Welcome to the Terror Dome," and it makes a whole lot of sense. I figured he just left after he saw his karma hit like -2 or something. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, speaking of karma, Trent, is Jay's karma still at 69? Yes. Fantastic. All right.
Yes, it is. Damn it, I have my shit on mute. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't do the muting and unmuting because I don't have a headset that lets me know like I used to, but I love this headset. That's the only thing I don't like about this headset is that when I put myself on mute, it's not where you can see it on the mic.
I don't use a headset. So. I'm working it out pretty good. Come on, man. Raise your game.
I'm on a headset. I got a little switch in my hand that controls the up volume, down volume, and the mute. And it's got some other button in the center of it. I don't know what that goes to, though.
Did you say where's my game? Because this headset's just amazing. That's the only flaw of this headset. Well, that and it breaks easy. I've been through 3 of them.
I, in fact, didn't. I said raise your game.
Raise my game. Well, I can't go any higher unless I get those, like, titanium freaking headsets I've seen or something like that.
The Razors ones or something like that?
You know what? I don't know. I'd have to look them up again. They were like $200. This is the WoW headset, so it's like $120, $150.
See, I've been using my Bose ones for all this stuff, which sounds awesome. but they're not wireless, so I end up being stuck to my laptop.
I'm using my laptop's mic because, well, and Alan will know. Myself and the headsets, we have a very tumultuous relationship.
You got a weird shaped head?
No, it's just the wires like to break.
No, I can dig on that. Yeah, I'm using mine. I'm using my. I would imagine generally everybody's using it outside of a headset. They're like laptop or something like that microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a cheap ass when it comes to it because whenever I try and spend more money on it, it breaks down quicker. But I go get myself some cheap ass $20 headset and lasts on average about a year. So
little known fact, Jay is actually not using a microphone whatsoever. That's actually just the sound and power of his voice.
Oh shit!
Over the air, and I mean literal air.
Shit.
Jay, we've been asking Jay to keep it down, but every time he speaks, children are born. So let's go ahead and let's go on to the next one here on the newsletter, which says that September is traditionally the road to anniversary celebration, and this year is no different. It marks the 8th year celebration, which is going to be on November 23rd, and will be the UWL return to pay-per-view. So it's not just a supercard. We're going back to pay-per-view. And even talk of the 8th year celebration being available on iPay-per-view as well. Really? Oh, fascinating. Okay. UWL officials have been talking about the possibility of holding the event at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum and showing the event on closed circuit to fans at UWL Arena, but nothing has been decided at this time. Yeah. Jay, when was the last pay-per-view?
Destiny, I believe.
Okay. And has UWL ever done iPay-per-view?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought Tokyo Experience was the last time we were on pay-per-view. Or did Destiny come after that, didn't it?
It came way after that.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
This next joint is pay-per-view, yeah?
That's what we're saying, yeah. No, I'm sorry. This is not pay-per-view. This is just a supercard.
Is this? I thought this was pay-per-view.
Nope.
Boss.
Grand Voyage is just a supercard.
Please tell me if this is a pay-per-view, because I might have to change a few words on my RP if it is not.
Jay?
Supercard.
Supercard.
Thank you. All right. Mental note.
I've just said supercard to be on the safe side. So, anyways, well, on top of that, Alan, why don't you go ahead and take the last one for us, man?
Says, the big debut for UWL in Miami, Florida, home of the Miami Heat, at the James L. Knight Center for Nightmare 4, will take place on Saturday, the 26th of October.
Oh, okay. Now, that's a pretty big arena, if I remember correctly, isn't it?
No, seats 5,000.
Oh, okay. So never mind. Hooray, Miami.
This does mark the first time, at least I think anyway, that UWL's gone to Florida.
No, first time they've been to Miami.
Oh, okay.
Who is from Miami? We talked about this before, but whose return home is this?
JB.
Troy Vincent, I think.
No, Troy Vincent's from
Joe Jones.
Are they all from Miami?
And JB's second home is Miami, too.
Wow, okay. So,
And, Troy, JB, and one more.
So Troy's character, so Troy is Miami, yet all of his RPs are based out of Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yep.
Okay, then I wonder if he's ever noticed that.
Well, it makes sense. It just means he was born in Miami, but he moved to Tennessee. That makes sense.
Does it?
To a degree. I mean, it's like from Miami, Florida, now residing in blah, 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 Tennessee. Well,
yeah, but I'm pretty sure it generally happens the other way around, though, because if I was born in Miami and I live in Tennessee, I'm pretty sure I'd go out of my way to say from Miami, Florida, as opposed to from Tennessee.
Well, sure. I mean, that works, too. Either way.
That's not Tennessee either.
Huh?
I wouldn't want to admit I was from Tennessee either.
That's what I'm saying, man. So, anyways, I'll tell you what. How about we take a little 5-minute break? 5-minute break, I guess. We'll play a song. And then we will, so go ahead and put your junks on mute. And put your mics on mute for that matter too. Don't put your, never mind. So we will, take a little, actually it's probably like a 3-minute break and we'll be right on back.
Word.
And we are back. Okay, so I guess it was like 3 minutes, give or take.
Where did you find that? Because I can never find just the instrumental of it.
You know, if I knew, I'd tell you. But off the top of my head, I got no freaking idea. I'm gonna guess it was on the internet. But other than that, I have no idea.
When in doubt, stay the internet.
Yeah, you know, Google. The answer Google has yet to fail me.
I've tried to find it on Google, and I couldn't.
Dude, I can just send it to you.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, no problem.
That would be amazing.
All right, well after the show I'll send it to you. No big deal.
I am officially done. Well, not officially done because it's not posted, but I need to find.
So are we on live as the last shot in the world title match is being fired?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We are 3-3.
That's what I like.
JB defending the belt against the former champ Frankie Cochise. Can Cochise become the two-time UWL World Heavyweight Champion of the world? Can he tie Justin Brooks with that same number of World Heavyweight Championships? Too much hype?
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect hype. I agree. That was awesome. That's a good question. Well, speaking of questions like that, I think it's only fair that we maybe go into some predictions. Everyone's made some on the boards, and I, again, want to encourage everybody to make your predictions on the board. But that being said, let's go ahead and let's go down the card. Let's make some predictions here. If you've got an opinion, as always, please share it. If you don't have an opinion, well, screw you. So let's.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. if you do, well, you know, I'm assuming you have an opinion because you're human, but you know, we'll see. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll list the card out and you know, at your leisure, give me your opinion.
Speaking of opinions, real quick,
sure.
Is Keith there?
Keith is here.
Looks like he's in the call.
He may still be.
I want his opinion on something. Oh, I want your opinion on something real quick. It's private, but I'm gonna show you right now.
I can speak for Keith, and he could say he's seen better.
All right.
He wants an opinion.
I forgot to say
he wants an opinion. It's private. He'll show you. Yeah.
Well, I got something to say about. Is it private? Bitch, it might be.
I sure hope that.
Shit.
I sure hope that you plunge me good.
I ain't saying nothing.
Bitch, it might be the official sponsor of the last time that we completely trolled the EW, or is it the Fed Wars? May it rest in horrible tiny pieces. Radio show.
What's Fed Wars? What is Fed Wars?
I don't know.
It's a collection of letters put together to make two words. Outside of that, I don't think there's any meaning associated with it. There may be a secondary meaning, but you never know.
Fed Wars.
It's what I sent. It's what I put in the toilet before I flushed it.
No, that's an After Earth. It's a big difference.
There you go.
Fed Wars is like Bin Laden. It's dead.
All right, so let's go ahead and go down this card. First match is Ice versus Ashton Bennett versus Chris Sawyer versus Phoenix Winterborn. Who you got?
Is his name Bennett? I've been pronouncing it Benet like all week.
Yeah, it's Bennett.
Oh. Oops.
He's a big NCAA black dude with Rampage Jackson as a pick base. I'm pretty sure it's Bennett.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, you know, when you put it that way. Then again, Rampage Jackson's first name is Quentin, so I mean.
Hey man, just give me the word, and I'll go roll up an alt with Tito as the pick base. I'll make it happen.
It can't be. I mean, I don't know, man. I think Matt Hardy kind of works. You never know. So, anyways, thoughts.
Well, I was talking about an alt, not
Sure.
for my main character.
You don't.
Well, I guess if I did decide to go bald.
You guys don't use random pick bases
bald.
for all your characters? You don't use 37 pick bases for your characters? I know somebody who does.
Hey, you know what? I got.
No.
I got. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but I got a story about pick bases.
It was 104. If you're going to get my number right, do it right. Not 37, 104.
I think there's only one other pick base I could use for Alan if I wanted to actually change his base, which I really don't.
Brother Love.
And that'd be Bully Ray.
I think Steiner's perfect.
I do too. That's why I don't want to change it.
Fair enough. Frankie, go for it, man.
Speaking of pick bases, back in the role playing, like the vampire role playing, a buddy of mine, the skinhead buddy of mine, he was playing a Vice Lord gang leader. They're an all-black gang out of Chicago. Anyway, I was helping him look for pick bases of some of his crew, and I saved 2 pictures for the pick base. 2 pictures of 2 shirtless, ripped black men, and a buddy of mine got on my computer and opened them up, and yeah, it made me look like I'm into the sexual chocolate. So yeah, never do that.
Sexual chocolate.
Never do that.
It only makes it look like it. Now the other naked pictures didn't have anything to do with it, though.
So instead of explaining myself, trying to discredit me as a gay man, I was just making myself sound more like a nerd.
No, it's for wrestling. It's for role playing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
He found a sock on the floor. He says, "Is that your condom?" I said, "Yes, that is mine."
Wow.
Anyway, we keep it classy on this show.
Okay.
Nerd.
I like it when the dwarves go down.
Oh my God.
That's where they find the floor door.
So let's talk about predictions. Who y'all got for that first match?
I got Chris Sawyer for that match. I like what he's put out. He showed that he's determined to make a good impression here in this first match. He's the only guy that's actually dropped more than 1 promo, and he's been dropping promos that's more than 2 paragraphs. Winterborn. And, I mean, overall, I like the guy's character concept. I think his idea, the whole struggling with substance abuse, is something that he can get loads of mileage out of. So I think he's got a real strong chance of winning here.
Okay.
I completely agree. That was my original pick, and I'm going to stick with it.
Excellent. All right. Anybody else? All right. I agree with you guys. I think Sawyer's my pick. He RP'd 3 times this week. Great week for a first week. That gives us a match number 2. We have El Cazador, the second, versus Becca Stevenson. And if I remember correctly, I don't think either of them have actually RP'd this week.
Well, Becca has put one out.
Did she?
Cazador hasn't.
Okay, my mistake.
She cut a promo from the bathtub, which I thought was hilariously awesome.
There you go. Okay. You're right, I see it now. I'm sorry. I must have missed it. Okay.
What people don't know is when she was in the bathtub, Drew had a snorkel on and was doing other things.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not touching that one.
She likes the beard. It's the power of the beard.
Yeah, I'm still not touching that one.
But she could hear me because she's sending messages to me in another convo.
And she's in this chat.
She is?
Yeah, she is. So, number 3, the returning Arch Stanton versus Autumn Raven.
This one is a really hard match for me to say because I like Autumn Raven. I like what she's been doing, and I liked when I had my feud with her and Alex Karn. But I think I have to go with Arch Stanton, especially after seeing the second promo that he threw out there. and just because I really like the old school character of him.
Yeah, I originally predicted Stan, and again, that's what I'm sticking to. Yeah, it'll be a great match, but I got to give the edge to Arch Stanton here.
It's a very close match.
Well, I'm going to disagree with both of you guys, and I'm going to choose Raven. I think that her RP this week was fantastic, and I think she's going to kick some ass. So, but that's my own thoughts.
She
said she's going to post on the last day before the deadline too.
I'm sorry.
You're right.
Yeah, she said she's going to post the second one. She legally can't post it until like less than a half hour before the deadline.
Oh yeah, I see that because her first one.
That's true because she posted at like 2:45 in the morning.
I'll watch. I've got a system for that. If you got to post it by 5:59 a.m. Eastern, or else you're screwed. For multiple.
Why didn't she just ask Arch if she could post it early?
That's true.
That works too.
As a rule of thumb, I always just take the full 24 hours off just to be safe.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I usually do.
If for me, if Angie actually came up with 2 promos, like all of a sudden, I wouldn't have a problem with him trying to deadline bomb me here at the end. I mean, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you wrote this, but we can't count this for this match." I mean, what's the fun of that, you know?
I tell him no. He's had a week to come up with something. He can't come up with nothing. Man, we've all been busy. We all do things. It's no excuse. He sure has time to run his own fed. He don't have time. He don't have time to do one role play. I'd tell him no. Flat out.
He should be able to come up with something. Lord knows I left him tons of stuff to work with as I called him out.
That's why I'd tell him no. If he said, "Can I do 2?" I'd say no. You've had more than enough time and more than enough material to come up with something, and you've refused to. You're stuck with one.
That's fair.
And now that I'm actually looking on the boards here, because Keith and I went back and forth on Thursday night, or I guess it was Wednesday night, because Keith always does his on in the same post, it actually looks like I double posted RPs 4 hours apart.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, not that it's relevant. I'm just saying. So actually, that brings us to our next match. You guys were just talking about Angelo Valor versus Alan Christopher. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Alan Christopher is going to win.
Yeah, me too. Hands down.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
It's going to be close to call.
I have to completely agree.
Yeah. We'll see. So, number 6, Roberto Dangeles versus Franklin Washington.
You skipped a match.
No, I didn't. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, okay.
I said that because I wanted to look cool. You're right. I totally skipped it. Captain Fury versus Salman Van Dam.
You know, I really wanted to predict SVD to win here. I thought that the recent storyline with the chair shot and Captain Fury would give him something to go with, but he hasn't even showed up. So, I mean, Captain Fury's got the win. And that's fine. I mean, nothing against Fury. He's a great writer, so that's okay.
Well, he also did put out a PSA this week about chair safety, for those who haven't read.
This is true.
The more you know.
Hilarious stuff.
Okay, well, I did skip that. You're right. So now we're on to match number 6, which is Roberto Dangeles versus Franklin Washington.
Only thing I can predict here is a great match.
There you go.
I honestly, as the guy who's new to the UWL, I honestly think it's an honor to be paired up against Rob Daniels here this week.
I haven't checked out Rob's second promo, of course, because he started writing it during this call. But when I looked at it before with 2-1, I want to give ever so slight edge to Frank on the 2-1, but I think if and when Rob does get his second one up, I think he's got the advantage here. And that sucks because that's my Devastation Inc. running buddy and all, but I think Rob might have him.
Fair enough. Rob going to get that in before deadline? I think you will.
Oh yeah, I mean, I literally I had my outline, but I just started it tonight, and I'm sorry for that.
Hey, you've already got one up, unlike other people.
Holler.
So, let's go ahead and go to number 7. The first of our title matches for this week, which is Scotty Adams, the champion, versus Troy Vincent.
I'm going to say Scotty takes it. I think he's more determined.
It's a hard one to call. I think that's, as Keith said, that's what it's going to come down to, is that the Adams character has a purpose. He knows what he wants, and Troy is just kind of there. He talks a lot, but he flip-flops between, am I a good guy or a bad guy? Do I respect you or do I disrespect you? And I think that makes him a little too much of a cluster to actually take down a determined Scotty Adams tonight, or tomorrow night, I should say.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think Troy just
I
wants
see
the
that Troy
Grand Slam.
changed his role-playing style this week.
Did he? Yeah, he did. It was all promo.
Yeah, he's following. Yeah.
And for the record, when he does it, he's damn good at it.
Who's that, Adams?
No, Troy.
No, Vincent.
He was okay. I mean, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of spots on his where it seemed like he talked too much, like too much of a paragraph that he should have tried to break up into 2 smaller paragraphs or something. I think, anyway.
I feel Troy's getting his groove back. I think he's going to start. It's going to happen more and more here, and I think that's just my opinion. I actually think Troy's going to win this week. I think we're going to have is this Scotty's first defense?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I think he's going to be paper championing for us this week. But that's just my thought. Let's see, who else we got here? I'm sorry, I got a different page here. All right.
Number 8,
our 8th match of the evening. Joe Jones versus Wolf Parker.
I think I have to go with Joe Jones there because he's got more focus than Wolf Parker has. The Parker character just hasn't fully gotten over, at least I don't think.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got to give it to Joe. I think he's just more determined, focused, and it's just Justin is more determined as Scotty than he is Wolf.
I feel that's fair. I feel like that's fair. But on top of that, let's actually not forgetting the fact Joe did one hell of an RP this week, from what I've seen, and I'm looking now to see if he did post his second one.
Yeah, Joe did.
He did.
I'm sorry. I keep his stuff. Joe, your stuff flows together really well, so I actually end up thinking both of your RPs were the one. But they're not. They're 2. My bad. Or not my bad. That's a compliment to your writing. I don't know. Anyways. So Double J versus Wolf Parker. Got it. 9th match on the card. Maybe. Or the 10th. You never know. But let's give the World Heavyweight title its respect, and we'll call this one the 9th match on the card, and that would be the UWL Heritage title. We have Drew Stevenson, our champion, versus Caleb Hart.
This one is really hard for me to call, and I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad that I'm not part of the judging committee in UWL, because I'm not sure if I could call it. But if I had to call it, this whole thing has been about Stevenson can't beat a healthy Caleb Hart. I think for the sake of this story, Stevenson needs to prove those doubters wrong and prove that he can beat a healthy Caleb Hart. For that reason, I'm calling Drew Stevenson to retain his belt. And that's one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make.
All right. Anybody else?
I think it's too close to call, so I'm going to go on a limb and think I think this might end in a time limit draw. I mean, can title matches end in a time limit draw?
Can Heritage matches end in a time limit draw? That's actually a question I wanted to know.
Yes.
They can, but I
go for Hart. Because that Caleb is a stud.
The time limit for the Heritage is 45. The time limit for the World and Tag is 60. The time limit for the TV is 15 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Stevenson Hart ending in a time limit draw is kind of a slap in the face to the two guys that busted their ass, throwing out 5 promos each. I think there needs to be a definitive winner in that match.
Well, I'm only speaking for myself, but that's how close I think the match really is. And I don't mean that as an insult to anyone. Quite the opposite, actually.
I'm pretty sure I can speak for Keith and myself when I say that we are in no way offended. For us, this is an absolute blast this week.
I take no offense.
It shows.
If it ended in a draw, we had fun doing it, and that was the main thing. We had a lot of fun going against each other, and it is too close to call. If it ends in a draw, that's perfectly fine by me, and if anything, it just sets up for another match, which we'll gladly give you 5 more.
Yeah, I don't agree with him there. I hate draws, but I would prefer a win or a loss. But if that means I get to face Keith again, I'm always all for that. I don't care what character it is.
It shows that you guys really enjoyed the match that you guys have just by how much hard work y'all poured into the match, and I think that's the most awesome part of all.
Thank you.
It just flowed.
Yeah, I think one of the things that this is one of the things Keith and I actually talked about this week when we did ours was that the very idea of Fed theory, E-Fed theory, kind of like music theory, in that one of the things we tried to do is we tried to actually, and we're going to get into this. There's a reason I'm talking about this. We tried to advance this storyline through RPs only, in a way. What is going on? Oh, somebody's got a southern accent.
It's on Double J side.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
What? That's what's up.
There you go. Anyways, we talked about Fed theory and the idea that we could develop a storyline even over the course of just 1 week to the way that I feel we successfully did. So even though this is, the first defense of the Heritage title, it feels like it's so much more.
It does.
So, which is, Keith deserves a mountain share of that credit, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and go on to the World Heavyweight title match, our main event for the evening.
Yes. You want to know why I say yes? Because I was hoping to post my RP right before you mention it, and I just did.
Did you really?
Yes, I was hoping right when you mention it, or right before you mention it, that I post it. Just did.
We mentioned it at 10:56, and at 10:56, Frankie Cochise has posted his third RP.
I'm going to have
that
beer.
at 7:56.
I'm going to have a frickin' beer with the guys, and oh man.
There you go.
I'm
Are we hearing somebody's vinegar strokes? I mean,
I just started laying in my bed. Like, oh yes, not oh yes, but like,
so vinegar strokes. Got it. Okay. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the league is on FX. Watch it, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk main event. Let's talk the big rematch: Justin Brooks versus Frankie Cochise. Who you got? Of course, I say that knowing full well that he just posted a third RP to take into consideration.
This is a good match. It's going to be a hard match to call. I don't think it's going to be quite as hard as Stevenson versus Hart. And that's for one reason. JB just defeated Cochise back at a championship extravaganza. If JB just beat him a month ago, he's going to beat him again here in this very ring at Grand Voyage 6.
Okay. Interesting thoughts. Anybody else?
Well, you see, I gotta give the edge. Of course, I gotta go read his third promo he just threw out, but I think Coach Cheddar here, he wants to prove, his character wants to prove that losing the belt was a fluke. I know he's determined. I know he's hungry. I think he's gonna feed.
Okay. Anybody else?
I haven't read the third ones yet, so I don't want to give an actual answer in case Jay comes to me about judging. So I don't really want to give any answers just in case I'm a judge.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, anybody else?
Can I say something?
Please.
I hope y'all enjoy it. That's it.
I know I will. I've thoroughly enjoyed your first two this week, just like I've thoroughly enjoyed all of JD's. Matter of fact, I'm probably one of the few guys that have actually read all, 38 promos sitting on the promo board right now, and I've enjoyed every single one of them, from Ashton Benet to Justin Brooks. I just realized I mispronounced his name again. The point still stands. I've enjoyed from the opening match to the main event, and it's made me more stoked for this upcoming Grand Voyage than I've been for any UWL show in a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know, it's funny that you say that. I feel like that in itself is a great place to actually end our real recording of this week's show. I mean, we can stay on, we can do whatever the heck y'all want to do, it doesn't matter to me. But I think as far as the UWL Insider goes, I feel like that would be a perfect spot to end it. What do y'all think?
I think that seems pretty appropriate.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, cool. Well then, I don't know, we gotta come up with a cool ending for this. But I think for now, maybe we'll just say, that's how we end it. No.
Good fight and good night.
Good fight and good night. Who said that? Because that's awesome.
I did.
That is awesome.
This has been UWL Between the Ropes, and we'll see you tomorrow night in the ropes, and we'll see you next week between the ropes. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here.
If you had taken 1 second to breathe after that, I would have totally used it.
Damn it.
Anyways, this has been UWL Insider. Thank y'all for listening, and we will see you next week.
Word.
Bye.
Peace.
Well, cool. I'm done recording. Nice.
All right, we are off the record.
Man, that actually went really well, I thought.